What's up, slashes and slashettes? My name is Nightfall, and welcome back to another anime discussion video. Today we will be discussing why I think Shiva from Record of Ragnarok is one of its most disappointing characters. So this all begins in round 2 of the series, where Shiva is supposed to be the god versing Adam. However, Zeus steps in and bullies him into giving the round to him, marking the first round that was taken from Shiva. And then you get to round 4 where, again, it was supposed to be Shiva going up against Jack. However, he once again was told to give up his round to a Greek god, as they wanted revenge for Poseidon. Meaning that his fight was, once again, pushed back a round, and we finally get to see him fight in round 5. And this is where the disappointment truly starts. You see, when authors purposely postpone a character's introduction or fight or really any event where they get their moment to shine, it generates hype around that character, as it tells the consumer, hey, this guy's going to be important later, or this guy is super strong and he'll get his chance to show that later. So I really started looking forward to seeing Shiva fight, as in my head, I was expecting him to obliterate his opponent, considering his fight was postponed twice, and he was the head of the Hindu pantheon, meaning he had to be very strong. So round 5 starts as Shiva and Tamemon Raiden enter the ring, with Heimdall hyping Shiva up even more, saying how he creates and destroys worlds simply because he wants to. Shiva, raring to go, tells Raiden to prepare to die as the Indian gods cheer him on. And as the match began, I sat there in suspense, ready for Shiva to annihilate this man. But instead, Shiva got absolutely bodied by Raiden. Even when he finally gets a chance to fight back and looks like he's making headway, Raiden just goes, fuck this, and crushes his arm, causing Shiva to miss the following attacks, stumbling around like me after kicking back a couple of mics. Anyways, he makes a little bit more headway, and him and Raiden get into a headbutting match. They then go into his backstory about how he beat every 1,116 gods in the Hindu pantheon and all sorts of things, and when it cuts back to present times, Shiva begins emoting and finally starts beating on Raiden. But honestly, it looked as though the final kick was the only thing that actually seemed to do anything to Raiden, as before that, he was just blocking the majority of Shiva's attacks. With everyone thinking it was over and the humans lost, hell, Gol even said that this fight was one-sided, which I guess she's just blind, honestly, because there ain't no way in hell that she thought Shiva was winning up until now. Raiden smiles and gets serious as he finally starts using sumo, specifically Teppo, which Shiva tries to block, only to get 2 more of his arms destroyed. But Raiden then suffers backlash from that move, as his body begins to break apart, which also shows how disappointing Shiva is when Raiden did more damage to himself than any move Shiva threw. Shiva then powers up and is finally able to fight back against Raiden, even though it looked like they were pretty much on equal footing. I mean, Raiden had a slight disadvantage due to his muscles burning up, but that didn't really stop him from parrying and countering some of Shiva's attacks. Then the end of the fight comes, and Raiden throws the attack that blew apart 2 of Shiva's arms, and Shiva 2-taps him. And that's it. That's the fight. So why does this fight show how disappointing Shiva is? Well, let's break it down. Shiva was not only cock-blocked once, but twice. And when he finally got to fight, he got his ass handed to him. Even when it looked like he was backing Raiden into a corner, Raiden would just counter him, and for the most part was completely unfazed. Even after having Shiva cut into his body with his kick, Raiden just smiled and blew apart his arms with an attack that would have killed Shiva had he not blocked it. And then, when Shiva pulls a form out of his ass that's said to be able to destroy and recreate the world, he just barely gets an edge over Raiden, only to hit him twice, one of those hits being against the move that could have killed him earlier, at the end of the match and decapitate him. Combine that with the multiple times the gods were saying, "Poor Shiva," and pitying him, and this entire fight just felt like Shiva was the underdog. And after being shafted 2 different times, I feel like making the strongest Hindu god an underdog who can only fight his opponent in a form pulled from his ass is just a waste of Shiva's potential. I was expecting Raiden to be the underdog, who, after popping off once or twice, was still incapable of getting over the obstacle that is Shiva. Yet instead, Raiden dogged the shit out of this man for 99% of the fight, only to lose when given something barely considered a slight disadvantage, which made both characters feel very inconsistent and made the whole fight just feel like a worse version of round 2. And that's why I feel that Shiva is, for right now, the most disappointing character in Record of Ragnarok. So I wanted to end this video by saying that while I find him disappointing, I in no way hate Shiva's character, and in no way think he is a bad character. In fact, he actually has some of my favorite things, like he's my favorite design in Record of Ragnarok, and his fighting style was pretty unique, and one of my favorites, the dancing and all that being unpredictable because he's the only one who can hear the rhythm, I found just very cool. And actually, in fact, as of right now, I don't really hate any character in Record of Ragnarok. I just felt that they could have handled his fight better after delaying it 2 separate times. But that's just my personal opinion, and I know it's one that many probably won't share. But even so, with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I will hopefully see you all soon. Goodbye.